Hello and welcome to this third session of Changing the Lost PbtA, which is a hack of Changing the Lost, one of my favorite of the World of Darkness settings. It is not Changing the Dreaming, so people get those mixed up a lot, but I like Changing the Lost. I particularly like first edition. This is a PbtA Frankenstein monster of a game built to allow us to kind of play out those changeling stories. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this session is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar, which is an online gaming club / community that has a bunch of sessions each month, 100 plus that we do. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. We're also on Twitter at Gauntlet RPG, if you'd like to follow our tweets, because I do that every day and it is a soul crushing task. So the more people that see it, the less my soul gets destroyed every single day. So that's that thing. We are using a set of safety tools, layered set of those. We have the X card in play, we have an open door policy, and then we have lines and veils. Just as a quick reminder of what we have hard lines on. We have hard lines on dental horror, sexual assault, torture, and virus pandemic plagues. We have veils, meaning fade to blacks, on harm to animals, harm to children, and racism, as well as homophobia. And we have particularly an ask first on homophobia if that were to pop up as an issue that something we want to bring in. Would definitely check with the table on that beforehand. Same thing for any issues of suicide. So those are the things that we currently have in play. So our characters kind of left off on a cliffhanger last time, which we will take up kind of in the aftermath of. But I want to check in with everybody's entanglements and make sure that everybody's still good with the choices that they've made, or want to see if there's anything that you want to shift around. Sherry, what are your entanglements?
Well, being the goof I am, I asked Hopscotch to watch out for Emily for me, so I owe him a big favor.
Is that the hopscotch that you had a vision of last time?
He must be ensorcelled.
Okay.
You have to save him.
All right. And you're still good with that?
Yep.
Okay. And you're romantic?
Oh, yes. My adoration for Ashwine is undeclared because of my loyalty to Jack, since they are both neck and neck for some of the court positions in their respective court.
And we got Ashwine on screen last time?
Oh, dream. So stingy.
Okay. Then let's come to Jack Shadowthorn, our fairest. What is your general entanglement?
The general entanglement right now is Abyssinian Max is intimate with my friend Relentless Third, but I doubt they've their interests at heart. And what raised my suspicions? That Kitty smells of deceit.
Yes, and so Max is at the center of a number of things. And are you still good with that one?
I'm fine. Yeah, let's put Max at the center of lots.
And your romantic
Not deceit,
entanglement?
it's just litter.
The romantic entanglement is Allison Dodgson knows about my thwarted desire for Isaac Sylvanbread. Yes. Is she keeping quiet about it? I'm not sure, but I sure hope she is.
I will make sure that we get Sylvanbread on screen today, if you're still good with that romantic entanglement.
Sure.
Okay. Then that brings us to Allison Dodgson.
Okay. So my extanglement is that I stole something from Relentless Third in order to alienate them from questions so loud, stealing her house keys and blaming it on questions so loud. My romantic entanglement is that I rejected Abyssinian Max because her claws are in a lot of different things. But now that they're with Relentless Third, I want them desperately. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of both of mine, so I have no intention to change them anytime soon.
Excellent. And then Emily Electrum, what are your entanglements?
Hopscotch takebacks keeps trying to teach me, but Relentless Third keeps interfering. And my romantic entanglement is I keep going back and forth between Questions So Loud and Abyssinian Max.
Yeah, and I think there was a sort of a public revelation of some of that last time, right?
Yeah, as the drawback of the contract, everyone in the room learned about that. And I was wondering, because the second part of that is why are both of them bad for me? Do they also know why I think they're bad for me?
No, I think just the back and forth is what you will realize.
Okay.
Let's come back to Jack. And you have your Wheels Within Wheels. Who is in your web that you want to find out something about?
Well, so currently, Gloriana's in my web. Isaac Sylvanbread's in my web, and Question So Loud is in my web. I took a secret from Gloriana last time, and it kind of involved questions. And since you say Isaac might show up this time, why don't I learn a secret about him?
Okay, let me quickly take a look at that.
Am I the only one with start of the session moves?
I think so. You know, like you have found out that
Heard tell.
that like he isn't around as much. He keeps a little bit of separated from Changeling society, though he's part of the court there, and seems isolated and maybe even a little distant. But one of the things that you have heard is that he has been interacting with a number of mortals, and in particular, what you kind of asked around about why that would be. What you've come to realize is that these are mortals who are relatives of people who were taken and didn't come back, and possibly relatives of mortals that got taken and that Sylvan Blood was in charge of tormenting.
Got it.
And he seems to be caught up in that. Whether what exactly that means and why he's doing it is uncertain, but that seems to be the source, and he certainly doesn't want people to know that he's doing that.
You break a lot of rules.
Yeah. Does that seem fair?
That seems fair.
Okay. Let us. Does anybody else have a starter session? Anything? Okay. Then let us take up with the four of you. Like the party would have broken up kind of quickly after that. But let's take up at you essentially at a automat / laundromat / a place where you can just get food out of vending machines. A place.
You mean right below my apartment?
Yes, at like 4 in the morning kind of thing, where there's the lights have been turned to half light, and there are some people in there doing their stuff, but it's very much that night flyers kind of empty, Nighthawks kind of empty early morning light. Since this is your place, Relentless Third, when we come in to see the four of you there, what are you saying or what are you doing?
I think that you see that she's been sitting on the couch. She jumps up when one of the people starts to put too much stuff in the dryer. She goes, "It's never going to get dry in time." And she's like, "Here, I'll help you."
Oh, I thought at first that was a curse.
No, she just knows these machines intimately. So,
Yeah, the person like seems a little irritated by having to double up, but
you think you're saving money by putting them together. It takes 3 times as long. Okay.
and they move away from you because it's 4 a.m. And when people
Really
talk to you,
think so.
strangers at 4 a.m, it is only high weirdness. So they put their laundry in and move away to another part of the laundromat.
I've done a good deed for the day, though. I come back satisfied. I contribute to the community.
You've saved someone some quarters.
Yeah. Those can come in handy sometimes.
Jack, what is on your mind? What are you thinking at this point?
I'm thinking that I was mighty impressed by Emily Electrum's capacity to get that intelligence out of Asswipe. He, that boy, I was surprised. I thought she was going to blow a gasket in the effort. I was glad I was be able to help her out. But yeah, when I saw her focused on that little tiny fuck nugget of a brain of his, I thought there was no way she was going to get anything out of there. So I am in deep respect for her capacities.
And Emily, after what went on and after that sort of a naked revelation of all these things, like how are you feeling?
Well, Emily's had a long, stressful day. So I think she's found one of those, those big powered outlets for dryers.
Mm-hmm.
She stuck one of her metal fingers in there and it's just absorbing some electricity.
Okay, getting that charge out of the place. Okay. And finally, Allison, I mean, in all of this, you were actually pursued and attacked, potentially physically, and then of course you had a verbal sparring with Ginny. So what do we see of you?
So I'm nursing a cup of coffee that I've gotten out of one of the automac dispensers, and I'm seated at one of the tables that they have at the laundromat, and I'm fishing around in a shadow because I am looking for the keys that I hid to Abyssinian Max's apartment.
Interesting.
And I have a move for that does require a roll to see if I actually find them.
So what do you want
Any
to roll
bad things
that
can happen.
with?
I would like to roll that with power,
Okay.
because that seems like I'm taking control of a situation, which I'm not very accustomed to doing. But I feel that yeah, this is definitely tapping into my power. So that's a straight 2d6 for me.
Yeah.
So that's a 9, and on a 7 to 9, I find the object that I hid in shadow in the past, but it isn't exactly as it was before.
So what has changed about it? Like when you pull this set of keys out, what is different? Is it a physical thing, color? What is it?
I think it's keys to something else.
Okay.
It's no longer keys to Abyssinian Max's apartment.
Yeah. Very
And
distinct, different looking keys.
It's interesting that you say that because it's a card key now.
Interesting.
So yes, it's a key, but a key of a very different form. And I remember quite distinctly that Abyssinian Max, it's a traditional key lock.
You can
no logo. It's
no
black.
logo, black. It's probably got an RFID in it, but other than that, you have no idea what this thing is.
Yeah. Curiouser and curiouser.
So, what is the next step from here? Relentless?
So, we know that we have to find Hopscotch and find out what happened, right? And we've stirred some stuff up. So if we call around and ask about him, people will be like, why are they asking about him? So should we be subtle? I mean, he might be a danger, right? Because those mask guys he was with, they were chasing you, weren't they, Allison?
Sorry, having difficulty finding my unmute button. Um, I sometimes I lean towards subtlety, and sometimes I feel like it can be more effective just to scare people a bit and make them afraid to say no.
I'm good at that one, yeah. But I thought I should point out that it's an option, even though I'm not good at it.
So, Emily, when you manage that feat of memory retrieval from Ashwine, I'm curious, when you saw Hopscotch, you know Hopscotch pretty well. He's your mentor, right? Did he look like he was in cahoots with them, or did he look like he was stoned, or did he look what he look like? What was your impression of him?
Well, did I get an impression, Lowell?
I think that's a study role for you to pull up those memories and try to run them again through your mind.
Okay. I think I'm trying to be calm and think this over, which means I'm rolling with a -1.
Sure.
Where's the dice roller again?
Oh, let me grab that. Copy. I'll drop it in the chat. There you go.
I got a 3. It wouldn't have mattered.
So the good news is you get to mark XP. The bad news is I'd like you to mark your calm, because as you kind of reach back, like, okay, I've got that memory from him. As you reach towards it and start to kind of like, I want to pull the details out, I want to analyze it, it becomes like gossamer. And as you kind of touch it, it's like candy floss, cotton candy just going away. And you're trying to catch on to whatever threads of it, but it vanishes. And you manage to hold on to the idea that you had a memory and you kind of know the basics of it, but the rest of it is gone. Like something has pulled that out in a way.
Okay.
And I think you're a little afraid because, like, what if that's contagious? What if that goes to your other memories?
Okay. Hopscotch was in my season, and the move says I always get to hold 1 even on a fail.
Perfect. Yes, good call. So you get 1 hold to ask a question or make a declaration.
I want to ask a question about Hopscotch's motivation, I guess. Like, why did he mess with Ashwine's memories?
Is it too much to say like he is covering his tracks? Let me that seems a little obvious. So you know that Ashwine's gifts are mostly about misdirection and kind of harmonizing and something like that. So this is outside of his scale. Unless he has a bunch of contracts and powers that he hasn't really engaged with before, like, you don't think it's him that did the enchantment, but probably the other figures that you saw, or some other thing, maybe even the object that was taken from the vault. Does that seem fair?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
To the rest of them, I'll say, it doesn't matter why he was doing it. He's messing around with people's memories. There's no good reason to do that. We have to assume he's the worst because he is the worst.
Okay. Well, it sounds really disappointed.
Yeah,
So,
some people
um,
have things that they'd rather forget.
Well, maybe that might be acceptable sometimes, but you don't go around erasing things willy-nilly.
But how would they know that they didn't ask for it? Wouldn't
could
you
leave
erase
a
that
note
too?
to yourself.
Now, let's not all jump to conclusions. It might be that Hopscotch was duped by these two. We need to gather more information, I think. And I think the person to do that, although she's looking a little agitated right now, is Emily. Since she is the one that has the connection with Hopscotch, it won't raise no eyebrows for her to go and talk to her mentor.
Fine, yeah, I'll do that right now. Let's go. Find him and talk to him.
I'll go with you.
That's a good idea.
I've got somewhere to be, but tell me how it goes.
Okay. And she sort of stops and says, I was going to ask if you wanted to stay here tonight. And she sort of actually got her thumb up, like towards the apartment. But that's cool if you got somewhere.
I'll take a rain check. Thank you.
Sure. We should go.
All right. Let's do what Jack and Allison are going to do in the meantime, and then we'll come to Emily and Relentless, figure out how you go about this. Allison, you said you had somewhere to be.
Allison is trying to figure out how she's going to get into Abyssinian Max's apartment if she doesn't have a key. And this is wearing at her a little bit. But she's also developed this little mystery for herself of she has a key, it's just not for the right place. So I think one of those things is something I want to pursue, and I'm wondering where I would even start figuring out what I have a key to.
We have a very simple move for that.
Good. Is it just a study, or
It is literally just a study move.
Okay.
And then we kind of backfill to figure out how you figure that out.
Okay. So I'm going to roll with fear because this mystery has me a little anxious, and I have been attacked. I feel like there has to be some reason why this key has found its way to me. It's not just a fluke. This seems like something very specific, and there are people who wish me ill, so it seems a fair enough guess. -2, there we go, or +2, sorry.
+2. So you can take the -2 if you like to angle for more experience.
Oh, that is a 12.
That is a 12, so that's 2 hold.
Okay.
Which you can use to ask questions,
yeah,
or make a declaration. What do you want to start with?
Yeah. So I think I'd want to declare that I have. I think I know I had said that it is a plain black key, but I think that is because I am not in the right kind of light to be examining a key like this.
Okay.
There's the fluorescent lights of the automat, and that's not going to reveal the logo, but the black lights at a nightclub might. So I think, the clubs are probably, if it's 4 a.m., I think most of them are winding down as the sun is about to come up. But I think there's a nightclub called the Daybreak, where they like to keep going. So I'm going to head there.
All right. Tell me, what is unusual about the daybreak? I mean, it's running, almost, 24/7. But what is unusual about it?
Well, clearly it's Fey Run, which is another reason that it's a very popular destination. And I think that time dilates at the daybreak. So, whatever time you go in is an appropriate time to go in. Whatever time you leave is an appropriate time to leave. But people may experience that time in different ways.
Absolutely. So we will see you head in to this place that has the weird Batman and Robin neon flow, black lighting around in here. Everything is kind of styled to that. There are still people here. There are probably a few minor changelings here and some people they've brought along to kind of generate emotions from and gather a glamour from. And the DJ is, of course, hammering beats, who's up there, running the turntables, and sees you. So do you have another declaration, or do you have a question?
My question, it's not a specific one of the study, but I'm guessing that is a valid one.
Yep.
I think that there's an indicator, whether it is a color that the card glows in or a logo or symbol that indicates either that this is in ownership of one of the courts, one of the specific courts, or of no court, or no court that I recognize. So I'm tossing it back to you of which of those three options it is. I think there is a symbol, either one of the seasonal courts, a court of another collection, something of outside of St. Louis, or not affiliated with the Fae.
Tell me, what is the symbol of Fear's Palace? Because you look at this and it's hard to see, and then you realize that it is the symbol of where you served your durance.
It looks like an Escher painting, but constantly in motion. It's stairs going in directions that stairs should not be able to, water flowing where it can't, and constantly shifting.
And I think you blink and like that there is a moment of that fear gripping you. And then you realize it's quiet. And you look around and the other patrons are gone, and you see Hammering Beats is kind of packing up some stuff, clearing some things, and says, "Are you okay? You've been there for a while."
Well, it's just the way the club works, isn't it? You know what?
Not usually. People don't usually just zone out. It's a little loud for the zoning. I mean, that's how I do it. I really work at it so that you don't fall unconscious or asleep or anything like that. But you seem to, yeah.
Hammering Beats, I don't know. I think I might need to go back to therapy. That'd be scene end.
Fine. In the meantime, Jack, what do you want to do?
So Jack has to run by his place to pick something up, and to maybe get a couple hours of shut eye. We do sleep, right? We are still somewhat human.
There is a sort of mentally exhausting oneself.
So he runs back to his place, which is a small little, it's in an industrial part of the town. It's like a rooftop kind of, it was a one room kind of studio. It's tiny, but it lets off onto a rooftop where he has some plants that he cares for, a little garden of his own. So he picks up, he takes a quick nap, and picks up the brown paper bag that he's got there in the apartment and walks out the door. He's feeling a little concerned that sending Emily and Relentless to gather information in a discreet way might not really pay off in the way we're hoping for.
Interesting. And, you mean you might not have sent the two most subtle people?
Yeah, he's thinking about that, but
Okay.
they seem the most appropriate at the time. But we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, he has a sense that there is more going on here than he can understand, and so he's going to try to find some intelligence from an unlikely source.
Oh, who are you reaching out to?
So it's about 8 a.m. now,
Yeah.
9 a.m. So he swings by the assisted living facility where he volunteers. And he goes to the room of one of his favorite patients at this session, which is at this facility, which is Wally Sorrell. And he enters the room where Wally is sitting in a chair staring out the window. And he comes up behind Wally, puts his hand on Wally's shoulder, and hands him the paper bag. Quietly, Wally opens the paper bag and finds about a pound of Sour Patch Kids in there, and he smiles mischievously. And he says, "Now, don't you let that Nurse Ratchet find you with them. And don't eat them all at once, because you know what happened last time." What most people don't know about Wally is that he's always had a touch of the side. Since he was born. He was actually born the same year as Jack, 1923. So he is bucking his 98th birthday while he is. But he's always had a touch of the side. And since his mind has gotten older and softer, more permeable, his sight has gotten stronger. And so Jack kneels down before him and says, "I need your help, Wally. I feel like trouble is stalking me and mine, and I can't get a fix on it. Is there anything you can see?" And I don't know if this would be the moment for a roll, maybe.
Yeah, I think this is your study. You're reaching out.
Okay.
What do you want to roll that with?
Let's see. I would roll it with. Let's see, where am I? It's either a power move or I'm not sure how afraid he is.
Yeah, which you think is guiding you? I mean, you've come here. Are you afraid what you're going to find out, or are you using a resource that you feel
I think
comfortable
maybe
with?
it's a resource that
Okay.
I feel sneaky about using, so that might be more power.
Okay.
Okay, and so let me get to the dice roller. Wally. So that's +2. And let's see what happens. That's 10.
That's a 10. So you have 2 hold
To hold.
to ask questions or make declarations.
So I want to ask a question about the situation. The memory that Emily saw, um, and I want to see if Wally can tell something about those two. Were there 2 figures? I think there were 2 figures that were with Hopscotch.
Yeah.
Anything about them and their motives or who they are or anything about them.
And he goes, they're huntsmen sent They 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 have their quarry that they seek out. Uh, they the there are 5 of them. 5, a handful, 4 fingers and a thumb that they seek out to bring back. And to start, they had to break the chain.
Wally, what's the chain? That's my second hold. The chain. Tell me the chain.
It's a cycle that protects spring, summer, autumn, winter. There's no summer prince. The chain's broken. Everyone is in danger. Anything can come in. There's no prince and there's no transition. It's all there, coming in, bleeding in. Everything is kept out, and no one will know because they don't know.
And then Jack puts his hand on Wally's shoulder and says, "That's easy. That's good, Wally. Thank you. Thank you. Pull all that out of there. Don't keep your fingers in all that stuff. Just come back and have Sour Patch Kid and stare out the window." And then Jack leans in slowly and gives Wally a little kiss on his cheek and lingers just a second and smiles. And
Why'd you go away? Why did you leave? You're my friend, and you went away.
I'm right here with you, Wally.
Oh, well, that's right. You came back.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'll be visiting you.
Okay.
And then there's a smell of brewed coffee and newsprint and cut roses.
Hmm.
And an image in Wally's mind of sunlight pouring in through a kitchen window. And
Nice.
finally, the soft laughter of his long dead wife, Flo, laughing at one of his silly jokes, or maybe just at the absurdity of life. And then Jack slowly withdraws, gently, leaving Wally into the reverie of his old long dead wife's laughter. And then he slips out of the room.
Awesome. Emily, how do you usually get a hold of hopscotch? Do you have a phone? Do you have a place that you go? How does that work?
She'd probably prefer to use a phone if hopscotch will let her.
Absolutely. So yeah, you've got a phone number for hopscotch.
I call him up.
Okay. Rings a bit. And just before it would go to whatever voicemail, the phone is picked up and you hear, hey girl, what is up?
Oh, hopscotch! I'm so glad to reach you. I really need your help figuring something out. I was trying to use that trick you taught me to look through reflections at something that happened in the past, and I just can't I'm getting some weird results, and I could really use your help making sense of it.
Oh, sweetie, anytime but right now. I am in the middle of some hot business, and I just kind of caught up in that. So you know how it is.
Look, we've uncovered something pretty important, and I don't want to talk about it over the phone, but I think you'll want to know this.
You sound really agitated. What's going on? Tell Hopscotch everything. Can I please have you make an overcome roll?
Okay. Overcome? I don't see that on the.
So let me see how that is called. What the basic is for that in this.
Stay strong, maybe.
Yeah, that's our stay strong. Yes.
Okay.
So many games with the different move names.
Right now, Emily's priority.
He is very. This is his thing. Is he puts people at ease. He gets them to open up. It's not mind control. It's just that is something about his voice when he makes you kind of pay attention to him.
Yeah, Emily, her priority should probably be not revealing what she knows, but her priority is trying to get into a room with him.
Okay.
And I guess I'm gonna roll with power, I guess.
Okay.
Ten.
So yeah, you've had your finger in that socket for like the last hour. So you are charged up. What is it that you want to say? Like, what is it like you can control here?
My goal is to somehow convince him that I have like some information he wants, but I'll only tell him in person. Just some excuse to get him here, to get to him in person somewhere.
Okay, well, all right. Let me put some things together. Throw some clothes on. You know how it is. So why don't we meet in that little hole in the wall coffee place that I took you to that one time over where the like they used to have that brewery, and it's kind of got some privacy there. Why don't we meet up there?
That'd be great. Well, I'll meet you there soon.
All right. Give me a couple hours, and then I'll meet you there.
All right.
And he hangs up.
I don't like this relentless. He says he'll meet us in a couple hours, but he'll meet.
Hours? Throws himself down on the couch. Oh, Jack's gonna beat us to it. Let's go to his house and knock on the window. Come on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he just skips town or something. Let's go straight to him.
All right.
So where does Hopscotch live? He's a little more upscale as far as Changeling goes.
Yes.
So to Relentless, tell me where he lives.
He lives in a cute, fashionable little bungalow on one of the not yet fully, upscaled neighborhood, but close. It's like, but it's where all the Instagrams are coming from because the houses are still cheap. Well, not cheap. They're affordable if you're middle class or upper middle class. And
They just put in a Trader Joe's, half mile away. Okay.
Exactly. And it's like one of those walkable neighborhoods, and and he has a place where he's actually kind of right in the middle of the neighborhood. He's got that sort of protective circle of not domestic, of residential around him.
So tell me, do either of you drive? Do you have a car, or are you Ubering, or do you
Usually I Uber because I'm excitable, and my brother doesn't like me to drive his car because I'm excitable. But if I really need to go somewhere, I just take the keys sometimes. So it's a thing.
And right now?
I will, but I'll write a note of apology. So sorry, gotta go.
So you two will hop in this car, drive over to this neighborhood. Yeah, and there's his house. How do you two want to approach this? Are you just charging up the front lawn and banging on the door, or are you playing good cop, bad cop, or using magics?
Yeah, and I think there's that thing of where,
Let
when,
me say this before we get too much
Okay.
further. And I'm going to come back. I'm going to let you finish that thought here.
thank you.
But Emily, do you want to channel and collect your energies?
Yes.
Let's
before we
let's
go
let's
in, for
resolve
sure.
that, and then I'll come back to let Sherry finish her thought.
Yeah, I think there's that thing of that Relentless hops out of the car and she sort of like, goes to close the door and she's looking over at his house and she sees that checkerboard of the sidewalk there.
Yeah.
And she kind of goes all hyper alert and she closes her door really quietly. And I think she's going to invoke a contract to essentially understand the layout. Because like to her, that just like hit all of her durance, think those sidewalks and the moving squares and the path you have to take,
Okay.
that kind of thing. So
let's have Emily roll primal forces, and then we'll have you roll your contract.
that sounds great.
Emily, what are you rolling your primal forces with?
Fear, because
Okay.
she's going up against her mentor. I got a 7.
Okay. So you've got three hold, and what do you want as your pick?
I'll take a harm, I guess.
Okay. So then you have to mark an element. Or sorry, not an element, a mood, one of your stats, or drained.
I'll mark fear, I guess.
Okay. All right. So that's a bold choice there, since now you can't roll with fear for a while. Relentless.
Yes.
Why don't you roll?
Okay, I'm rolling with power, just
Okay.
because this is a callback to my stuff. So I'm rolling 2d6 and I'll add 1 to it.
Okay.
Oh, a terrible roll. Terrible roll.
What'd you get?
I got a 4.
So the good news is you get to
Oh,
mark
yeah,
XP.
That makes it all worth it. Okay.
The bad news is I would like you to mark 2 clarity.
Oh, okay. That seems reasonable. Not really.
As you kind of reach out to grab onto here, and there are some contracts of the maze here, and you kind of grab on and start to get pulled down into that. Like clearly there's kind of almost a spell trap, and also you have the sense that if you started walking up to this place without like doing something, you might not be able to like make it up to the front steps. Like it is a maze that
All right.
will kind of change how you're going.
All right. So it was exactly what I feared it was. What do I have to do to prevent myself from being pulled in?
You have to not walk up there.
Hmm. That is. And I sort of stop and I say, Emily, we can't go to the door. There's a maze.
Can I teleport with someone?
That you cannot. However, I will say that you can certainly teleport up, but Relentless is an ogre, and so can always perform superhuman feats of strength. So it'd be a stay strong roll, but you could conceivably jump from the sidewalk to the front porch. Emily, do you want to teleport up?
Yeah, I'll teleport there.
Zoop. And what does that look like? Yeah, well, what does that look like when you do that?
I think I just sort of turn into electricity for a second. There's just like a split second lightning bolt
Okay.
kind of thing going straight to the front door, really.
Okay.
For the
And
doorbell?
yeah, just gonna emerge from the doorbell. Relentless.
Yeah, I will try the jump. So
Okay. What do you want to roll that with? Because this could go terribly wrong.
yeah, it's a good, I mean, look at my dice, right?
Yeah. There were so
mhm.
many good rolls. It was
Yeah,
bound to happen.
Yes. Sure. Trying to keep myself calm. How about that?
Absolutely.
I'm solving problems the way people do, not the way I do. Okay, so this is again 2d6, and then we're adding 1. That's a 9.
That is a 9. So I think you will get up there onto the front porch next to Emily, but I don't think you're particularly quiet about it.
All right, then I'll just lean in on the doorbell.
like you just hop, smash, come down hard on that front porch, like a terrible UPS driver just throwing the boxes down, and then you lean right into the buzzer there. And I think as you do that, I think from inside the house you hear like the sound of moving and the sound of footsteps going, like running for the back door. We're going to come back after we take our first 10-minute break, and we'll come back to you two to see how you stop hopscotch, and then we'll come back to Allison and Jack, okay? So we'll take 10, so go to about 7 after. Come down heavy on that front porch. The buzzer goes. You hear the sound, maybe even through the shears. You can see a figure hightailing it for the back of the house. How do you want to play this, Emily?
I want to teleport around back.
Okay. I think that you can spend another one of your hold, and whoop, you are back at the back. What do you want to do, Relentless?
Oh, I think the very least that I could do is just kind of go through the front door.
Okay.
Essentially just kind of, open the door, knock, knock, shoulder in.
Okay.
So,
Kind of crack that in, and like you will see hopscotch like down this hallway, running to the kitchen, and I think you see him gesturing, and he is very clearly going to open a door into the hedge. So Emily, you're kind of looking in. You see, like you're at the back door, like looking into the kitchen. You see hopscotch coming this way. He's gesturing, and even as he gestures, you can see the like light in the doorway start to kind of change a little. He's clearly going to try and open a doorway so he can hop through into the hedge.
Okay. I'd like to teleport in and tackle him if I can.
Okay. Yeah. I think I want a stay strong for that, because you can kind of teleport through a region of space that is being moved into the hedge and get a hold of him. So let's have you do that.
All right. I'm going to roll with power. 7.
7. So I think that you teleport through with your last hold there. I'm going to have you mark 2 clarity, because there is a moment when you are doing that where you don't kind of teleport through the real world. And it's sort of terrifying as you're kind of shot into the hedge and then shot back out before you smack into Hopscotch and knock him down. And like, as soon as he kind of, wind knocked out of him, he's like, oh, thank God it's you. There was some debt collectors.
I'm gonna gather more power while I'm holding him.
Okay. Let's have you roll that, and then Relentless. Before we cut to the others, what are you saying to him?
I'm standing inside his front door and I carefully put the front door kind of back on the frame, like as if I hadn't really just broken it up.
Geez, Relentless, you broke my door.
It was already falling off the hinges. Don't worry. I'll have someone come and fix it. And
Yeah.
so we'll wander over there and sit. It just turns out I'm particularly hungry for breakfast this morning. How about we just go over to that restaurant now?
Okay. As soon as Emily like gets up off of me.
As soon as that. If I don't try to rush Emily.
Let's have you make that roll, Emily, to draw power.
Rolling with power again.
Hey.
I got an 11.
Look at that. You are on it. You're feeling particularly potent, and you will draw your full 3 hold without any kind of drawbacks. And I think we'll cut away from you as Hopscotch is like trying to laugh along, like, oh, isn't this funny? We all like each other. This is just hijinks. This is we're old friends, all chummy. Everything's good.
I'll get it very seriously. I want pancakes.
Fair enough. Allison.
Yeah.
You've had this revelation about where this thing comes from. You've had a little bit of time dilation there in the daybreak. Hammering Beats is like, you okay? Do you need a ride?
I'm okay. I can. Gosh, I knew a week ago what the name of the public transit was in St. Louis.
Oh,
Now I've forgotten it. They have a metro
SLPT.
though.
St. Louis Metro.
Yeah. No, I've an unlimited card.
Okay. Well, we only closed down for about an hour, and it's now while they wash everything down.
Okay.
It's sticky.
Okay, I get it. I'm going.
Oh,
Okay.
No, I didn't mean that. I just can tell you there's gonna be people coming in here to change their stuff. Sorry, didn't.
It's fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll see you soon, but I'm gonna go.
Where do you go from here, Allison?
Okay. Well, I get the sense that at some time in the course of this mystery, I'm going to have to make a return trip to Fear's Palace, because if I wasn't, then why would I have a key there? And I would feel guilty dragging any of the rest of my motley into such a dangerous thing, but I don't feel guilty dragging Abyssinian Max, at least to be involved. So I want to hit the streets to head back to her apartment and try to find her. What I'm trying to, as a player, what I'm trying to extract is a token of affection that may give some kind of mythological sort of protection when I make that journey into the hedge.
All right. So I think we can cut you back to the apartment. I don't think there's necessarily hit the streets there.
Oh, but I would have loved to have something bad happen with that. I like some of the
okay.
situations.
Well, then if you feel like that, then we can do that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll with joy for it. So it's just gonna be a straight roll, because maybe things will work out.
Yeah.
Don't usually, but maybe they will this time. I get a 5, so I would love to hear what doesn't work out and what consequences I have.
I think that you head on over to Max's, and I think that you like walk up and ring the bell, and there's no answer. And I think that you like maybe pop up in your phone. Maybe you'll call them, and you're looking at your like list of contacts, and you're like, that's really weird. I I think there's a name missing here. Like I've erased one of my contacts. And you'll scroll through and you realize that you can't find Spinning Jenny's number or name in your contact list.
No great loss.
No, but you had her number.
She had my number. I look through text messages to see if I have text from unknown numbers, and I take it I don't.
No.
What did we ever establish what floor in her building Abyssinian lives on?
Essentially, there's like a second floor. They have one of those like sort of side walk up kind of things. So you're kind of on an outside porch at the door of this.
Okay. Are her curtains drawn or are her curtains open?
Cracks in strategic places. So there's a splotches of sunlight. She's a cat.
Yeah. So I want to like peer through since nobody's answering the door. Can I see anything just like through the cracks?
Looks like nobody's home.
Looks like somebody is home.
No, it looks like nobody's home.
Nobody's home. Okay. I'm not sure if she's gonna get back in, seeing that I stole her keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sent her a text. I say, hey, I swung by your place. Are you gonna be back anytime soon?
And she'll write back, court duties, won't be back till this evening.
Okay.
Why? Question mark.
I might be about to do something kind of dangerous, and I wanted to see you before I go.
Ominous.
I put intrigued, question mark, ... I think
dots
it's a
will
move.
hang. The dots will hang there for a bit.
I think I'm trying to entice her. I feel like this is some social manipulation.
Yeah. This is conflict. You're trying to draw them in.
Yeah. And I'm trying to exert power on her, so I'm going to roll with power.
Yeah.
Is that another 5?
So the good news
5.
is you get to
get XP,
get mark XP, and that the 3 dots hang there for a while, and then she writes back, no, you had your chance.
Oh, I think I have to mark power, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I could have you also roll inner turmoil.
Okay.
As she shuts you down
Yeah.
hard.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'm gonna die alone. So I think I'll roll with sorrow for that.
Okay.
Not great, not great. That's a 6.
All right. Then
I get more XP.
get another XP. I want you to mark 2 clarity.
Okay.
And you have this feeling like something bad is going to happen and it's going to be my fault. Like just that premonition kind of washes over you.
That's a day that ends with Y.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's strong and visceral and it shakes you. By the way, whenever you hit 5, you can go ahead and take your new move for advance. So.
Yeah, I'm going to start looking through options.
Okay. Jack, do you have something you want to do, or do we want to swing you back with the others? What do you think?
Well, yeah, Jack, as he leaves the assisted living facility, is thinking he needs to powwow with his motley. And he's also worried about Relentless and Emily. So he sends a text to Emily. He has a way of sending a text to Emily that goes straight into one of her little gadgets in her head so she can respond directly.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. So you get your little heads up, Emily, heads up text.
Everything okay?
No, all caps, exclamation point.
Can I be of assistance?
Hopscotch's place now. I think with the address.
And I just respond presently and head on over to Hopscotch's place.
So do the two of you kind of hang a little bit till Jack gets there?
Yeah, we stand and watch him get dressed.
He's
know?
dressed, but
Yeah,
he's more like going to the front door and oh, you really took that off the hinges, and
I did.
he's really
I
playing
know
that
a guy.
up.
Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah,
I wouldn't leave you hanging.
It's like, I said I'd meet Emily in a couple of hours. If you wanted to meet sooner, you should have said something on the phone instead of come bashing on in over here. That just seems unfriendly.
Oh no, we're worried. You're in danger.
In danger?
Mm-hmm.
From?
The mass porcelain mask guys.
The who, he says?
Just know who they are.
I think you have me at a disadvantage, Relentless.
Well, then, if so, you better stick with us. In fact, we're going to go have pancakes, so you are stuck with us for a little while.
And Jack, you'll show up. Nice place. Door off the hinges.
Whoops.
He is like, well, let me at least lock the door, maybe the deadbolt, hold it in place, and while we go out.
Are we off to breakfast then? Let me guess, Relentless. It's going to be pancakes, right?
They come in giant stacks.
So yeah, I think you can all get moving, though. I think Emily is locked up here briefly.
Me too.
But yeah, he's now, Hopscotch is a little on edge now that it's 3 of you to 1 of him.
That's right.
And back, Kyle.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. So we will cut to the three of you at the American Pancake House, and who I assume that one of you is pinning him in the booth, kind of thing.
Yes,
Who is that is pinning him in?
me,
Okay. So he's
because
like,
I'm the friendliest.
yeah. So so where's your fourth wheel?
Oh, good question. I'll text her.
Okay.
And I'll send Allison a text that says pancakes with all the exclamation points.
And you'll get that, Allison, just as you're in the darkness. And boop, pancakes.
I better carb up. I'm gonna need the energy where I'm going.
So he says, so while we're waiting on your scary friend,
Mhm.
well, why don't you tell me what's going on? What's the deal? What's the biz?
You're working with people and also erasing memories.
Well, now, why would you say something like that?
Because you're erasing memories.
I don't know what you're talking about, Emily.
You erased some of Ashwine's memories and also some of mine. I am concerned.
Don't think I ever erased any of your memories.
You did some sort of contract or something on Ashwine, and then my memory of you doing that is also just melted away. At my Durance, there were 37 distinct security systems interlocking in a 112,000 second security cycle, and I memorized it. I memorized all of it, and now things are just melting away inside my mind, and I'm going to get answers.
And Hopscotch turns to look at you, Jack, and Relentless looks very concerned and says, is Emily okay?
Actually, we're concerned for you.
Jack is just studying him because he likes Relentless and Emily and their direct approach to kind of beat the bushes a bit. And he wants to see what he will do. And so he drops one more little bomb on him. He says, cut the shit, Hopscotch. We know you're working with the huntsman. We know you're in over your head. So you might as well come clean with us.
All
He's
right.
watching to see how he reacts.
So you want to do this as a study?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, I have to choose a mood. Sorry. Jack's feeling calm,
Okay.
especially since Hopscotch is no threat, pinned into the the booth under Relentless's weight. He's feeling calm. All right. Let's see what happens. Hopscotch. It's a 7.
All right. So what is it like what's the key question, like key information you want to draw from your observation here?
I want to understand I'm pretty sure he's involved in this, obviously, for a number of other reasons.
Right.
I want to understand what is his motivation for being drawn into this? What is he getting out of this? What's his angle?
You can see that this is the self-preservation response of a true coward who is essentially looking down the barrel of really nasty forces that he has opted to serve the devil, essentially, to get himself another day.
Got it.
He may not have a full sense of exactly how bad what he has done is.
Got it. And do I also, so I also, because of Murmurs of Sorrow,
Yeah.
I should get his greatest sorrow as well.
Ooh. I think his greatest sorrow is that he knows in his heart that he walked himself into the hedge. Like it was absolutely his own freaking fault. Like he was too greedy. He was too venal, all of that. Like he has become that. He became a grifter because he was a grifter. And that's what dragged him down. And he can't stop grifting.
Got it.
And I think he's like now kind of moving into kind of chow at the pancakes. And let's bring Allison in at this point.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I think that she has her hoodie up and over her head, just kind of like pulled down to avoid eye contact as much as she can. Shuffles into a seat and like picks up the menu to block her vision of the rest of the group. But her shoulders are kind of hunched. What's good for somebody who's going to die alone? And
Pancakes.
possibly sooner rather than later.
Pancakes.
Ask
Yeah, yeah.
hopscotch.
and that comes out and everybody like blanches and hopscotch. Like he almost got his fork to his mouth and he's like,
And I just flagged down the waitress to say, I'll have what he's having. And coffee, lots of coffee.
how about you tell me?
Oh, no, no, no. It's time for you to tell us, because that's the only thing that's going to save your skin. Because at this point, I'm really obligated to just shake you like a rag doll until your neck has no integrity left.
Please roll conflict.
Okay.
This is one of those cases where definitely you have some backup here.
Yeah, I guess I will go with power. Not that I want to. So 2d6 plus 1, that gives me a 7.
Gives you a 7. So pick 2 from the list.
Sorry, gotta find it. Conflict. There it is. Oh, I think I create an opportunity for me and my allies, and I'm gonna get what I want from them.
And I think he takes his hand out of his pocket and kind of puts it up on the thing. And I think you'll realize, Relentless, that he's probably been texting. And he says, I overplayed my hand at the goblin market. Some goblins there. I got into some trouble, but it was a setup. And there were some debts, bargains, and threads that were out there. And some chainers appeared. And they said they wanted my help, that I would give it to them, or all of the contracts and threads and things that they had over me would come snapping back, and they would drag me down. They wanted to get into the vault to get an item from there. And I said I would help them. They needed a face to get in the door. And they had some people that they wanted. Like they just wanted a few changelings. Ones that had come from a particular place, from a particular keeper.
That doesn't sound like it was your price to give.
That's a bigger question, I think, than I'm necessarily ready to scale at. I right now I'm talking about where I was, how I got in on this, and I went in, I took them in, I helped Mesmer Ashwine, and then we got into the vault, and they found this sword. It isn't really a sword. It's more of an idea of a sword that becomes a sword. And
I'm familiar with ideas of swords that become swords.
Okay. And it cuts things. It excises things from the world, and it's that was then that I found out that they were aiming at the Prince of the Summer Court and some others. And he kind of looks over at Allison.
You've called them here?
Yeah, I didn't call them here.
Can I see your phone though? I mean, this is a chance for you to demonstrate that you're not lying in this one moment.
Just hold him, Relentless. I'll get the phone.
Here's my phone. Here's my phone. He'll hand it to you. Relentless.
All right. And I'll take a look at it.
Essentially, there's a text to a number, and it essentially says, should be worried about this person. And there's a picture of you, Relentless, like you in the house, kind of putting the door back up in its frame. Like at that moment, he took the advantage to like take a picture of you.
And I said, oh, thank you. It's a good picture, and I'll send it to myself. So
So I've told you
Jack's
the
looking
deal.
over his shoulder. Jack's looking over Relentless's shoulder and says, "Oh, well, I'm curious to know who's at the end of that number. I wonder if Emily might be able to help us with one of her technological tricks. She's good with machines."
Yeah, I think I'll take the phone. And would a study work here, or?
Let's see. Let's take a look at your abilities. Yeah, let's do a study. I think you get the fictional positioning here with your elemental nature. I think it is a little more challenging.
Okay. I think I'm gonna roll with anger because
Okay.
she's not happy right now.
Yeah.
And it's a good number.
All right. Yeah, it's a 9.
Okay. So you got a hold. What is it you want to know?
he's in your court too.
Well, he's in the court, but this is a different thing.
Okay.
Can I? I guess I want to ask a question about the person he's texting. Their intentions, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay. He's clearly texted these chainers. And they've only partially completed the gathering of the 5 that they're hunting. So they've got a few more to grab.
Okay, and what is a chainer? I don't see it in the terms.
Oh, that is another term for changelings who serve a keeper, come back to the real world and drag you back in.
Huntsman.
Yeah.
So we should go and beat them up, but we should probably let some other people come and help us beat them up.
Hold on, before we go, who's been excised so far? Did you excise? And I'm guessing here that I can't remember Spinning Jenny's name.
No, you can.
I can. Does it just come out as crackle, crackle, crackle to everybody else?
No, I think so he says the name of rather Allison says the name of a changeling that you don't know, any of you.
We all look confused. Who's that?
He's like, who's that?
Well, that's a yes. Okay. Let's go beat up some chainers.
Right.
What are we doing with hopscotch first?
We're gonna take him with us.
You
She
know,
sort of stops and says, I just want to make this clear. I'm calling in other people to assist with this. You come, you can try. You can try to prove that you still have a place. Maybe they'll let you live. I don't know.
he says, you don't want to take me because I'm bound up by the contracts with them.
And she goes, if you tell Emily what the contracts are, she can calculate the safest place that we can stow you, that you won't be compelled.
I think if you just lock me up somewhere, maybe put a guard on me if you're nervous about things. Somebody who dislikes me because it's harder for me to work with them. But if you take me with you, I will betray you.
So why don't we kill him?
Now, I've got some reasons why, but I'm hoping that maybe your friends will step in from the moral perspective.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Wait,
Because I figured in some ways this is up to the other wise end, isn't it? I think she'll go. Jack, do you want to call up your court?
Yeah, the winter court is going to be mighty interested in your activities, Mr. Hopscotch. You have perhaps inadvertently undermined all the defenses and secrecy of the freehold. You may have put us all in danger.
wait, what?
That little item that was taken,
Uh-huh.
it's dropped all our defenses. The Prince of Summer has been taken. No one can recall him. If these hunters, these chainers can come in and take anybody, what's to have them stop at just 5? We are all at risk, including you. Trying to appeal to his self-preservation instinct.
All
I
right.
think
Yeah.
you broke the cycle.
All right. Call winner.
All right. So I call up someone in the winter court.
Who do you call?
Let's see. Who will I call? I'm gonna take a look at the NPC tab for a second. Not Asswipe. He's already compromised. Why not dear Abyssinian Max?
You're going to go straight to the prince and impress them with your knowledge? Go for a political win?
I don't have the prince on speed dial.
Well, you have
I
to.
do.
Well, one of the things is it's certainly if you need to hand him over, you probably do need to go to where the winter HQ is. So
let's do that.
Tell me, where is the winter court headquarters? Like what kind of building, what kind of location are they in? Are they have a business? They're in an abandoned place? Do they have a church? What do you think?
All right, so to get to the headquarters of the winter court, you have to take a prescribed path through the industrial part of town. And you can only approach this in the most circuitous route possible with a bunch of turns. But then ultimately you get to what looks to be an abandoned warehouse.
Oh gosh, I was gonna just post in the chat. You can reject this idea because this is your call.
Oh no, I'm interested. Let's see.
The wrong time of year. But.
Wrong time of year, but it still happens. Because it's an outdoor. It's not an indoor, huh? Premier winter destination.
Let's say that it's like a privately run park thing, and let's say that they have an indoor like roller skating rink next door for summer stuff. Mm-hmm. Where they do roller derby and things, and that it's in a really weird part of town.
Yeah, sounds good.
So you will arrive there with Hopscotch in tow, and you will see that the waterborne mistwalker Avery is there kind of cleaning up out in sort of the lobby for the place while it's, and he's like, hey,
Hey, Avery.
what's going on?
Is His Royal Highness in?
The prince is in. Do you want me to go and announce you?
Please. Tell him we have a
Okay.
treat for him.
Yeah, I will do that. And he hands you his mop. Hold this.
Sure thing, friend.
Okay. And he will go, and he comes back a little bit later, and Royal Majesty, regardless, we'll see you. Follow me. You don't have to bring them up though.
Thanks for letting me know that, Avery. I'll just leave this mop right here for you.
And he will take you essentially into a set of offices that are kind of downstairs, like the secondary offices. And you will go in. Tell me, Allison, this fairest office in a skate park, in a basement room. What's striking about the decoration of this?
The striking thing is there's the walls are covered in elegant and clearly commissioned graffiti. So, it captures a lot of popular local artists' styles. They likely hired popular local graffiti artists. And to one in the know, as we all are, we are able to see depictions in the pictography of great, mostly apocryphal battles that Winter has claimed victory in.
Excellent. And Emily, what's another background element here? A smell, a sound, a color to the light when you kind of go into this office?
Everybody's like breath fogs, even though it's not that cold. It fogs anyways.
Okay. Absolutely get that little chill there. And Relentless, what is another thing that tells you that this is Winter's demesnes?
Well, that's a good question. I think the thing that, like, once you notice it, you can't not notice it, is that since it is also the domains of fear, there are, like, all along the bottom of the wall, there are these like scratches and scrapes that look like someone is clawing at the wall from the other side, and like the paint wears off from it, and like the more you look at it, the more it looks like someone's sort of actively doing it, like you swear you can see the flakes falling. And it just has this sense of like that behind the walls there's something held back.
So some kind of decay, some kind of thing held back. Regardless, is beautiful. He's tall, forearms, beautifully dressed, impeccably dressed, bejeweled. You notice that he has his laptop and those kinds of things, but also has a beautiful Go board out there that you can see it's in mid play, and he looks up and he smiles and he said, "Jack, you have overcome your natural hostility towards your fellow Ferris to come and visit your prince.
Well, Your Highness, with you, I make an exception to every rule.
I am exceptional. Come, your whole motley is with you here.
We've brought a little present for you and some disturbing news. This changeling, Hopscotch by name, has been involved with a plot of some chainers to steal from the storehouse, but not just that. We have reason to believe it has undermined the magical protections of the freehold. This little Benedict Arnold here has given up many of our secrets, and we think the justice of the Winter Court is in order.
And he says, like a kind of a low growl, and you see him point over to a spot where there's like a piece of furniture that is clearly covered by like a drop cloth. And he gestures, I think you're closest, Relentless, for you to pull it away.
She
And
does.
you pull it away and he says, put him in the lazy boy.
Oh, the lazy boy. Such a good idea. Your
Like
Highness.
it's one of those, like, it's the kind of recliner that you can't do anything with it, so it gets set out by the curb and it sits there in the rain and stuff, and you can just feel the like little bit of power, like it's clearly a token item, and you kind of shove Hopscotch down into it, and when you sit him down into it, like the footrest comes up, and he like tries to like sit up, and he can't.
I think Allison turns to leave and somebody stops her from leaving.
Yeah, I think that you will see Ashwine is in the doorway. Where are you going?
Do I have to watch this?
You came.
And she turns back and faces and makes really direct eye contact. I'm trying to decide if I want to make direct eye contact with the victim or with the prince. Let's go with the prince. I just stare down regardless through this whole thing in this kind of like, I know this guy fucked up, but this vengeful, we're no better than the keepers if we're like this. It's just what I'm emanating from my eyes.
He'll look up and match your eyes, and he says, do not assume what I plan to do, Darkling. I know you come from a place of fear and torment, but do not make judgments about what I do or assumptions. Your friend, if we wish to call him still that, is held there. He is bound. His destiny is bound. All other contacts, contracts, manipulations, scans for all of that, they are all trapped there in the lazy boy. We'll decide what we wish to do with him once the situation has been resolved. And if you wish to petition for clemency at that point, you may do so. There's an order to these things.
I respect your authority. I don't have to approve of it.
Jack approaches the lazy boy and kneels in front of it, in front of a hopscotch, and says quietly, "This will be your opportunity to soothe your greatest sorrow and cleanse your guilt about entering the hedge, about betraying us, about all of it. Just let it all go now. Let it fall into the lazy boy chair. You don't have to hold it no more."
He sinks deep into the cushions. Let's take 5 and we'll come back and we'll see where our steps lead to as you explain the situation to the prince. Emily, you have been quiet through this. So you've watched this situation go on. What's your reaction? What's your take on this?
She's pretty furious. I mean, Hopscotch was her mentor. She trusted him, and he's been selling people out to the keepers. Yeah, I think she's literally been crackling with anger, with like little lightning bolts of electricity arcing around in the background.
And regardless, we'll turn to you and we'll say, is there anything I can get you, Elemental?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Why don't you settle yourself into one of the other chairs to relax, and maybe don't short out my sound system, which I had installed, and took me a while to get the audio balance just right. So someone, Jack, if you wish, or one of your motley mates, I'm good. Someone, please explain to me what precisely is happening.
So,
Yes, let's have the ogre speak. This should be interesting.
yes. The chainers used the goblin market, set up a set of bargains that Hopscotch fell into and was then, how should we say, bound by. I'm sure that he could tell you all of that history, but this is something they've had set. They've come here supposedly targeting 5 different people,
Mm-hmm.
but they knew what they wanted was an artifact that was kept in a vault. They went for that. Hopscotch was the face. He was able to mesmerize the guard that was there. She doesn't mention who the guard was. And the item was taken. It's been used to slice people out of their place, out of their position, out of our memory. That is why I cannot remember the name of the Summer Prince. I don't know if you can, Prince, because you have much more power than I. But to me, it is utterly lost, as it is to my motley mates. And Allison knows the name of a changeling that we don't remember, so only Allison still remembers them. I think it's Allison and perhaps her, whomever was in her durance at some point or related to it. Is that because, and she sort of turns back towards Allison, Spinny Ginny knew you from then, right?
And new is generous. Well, we were involved in a sense.
See, I don't know who else, and I don't even know what to call that durance. Perhaps Allison will speak of it. Perhaps it would be helpful. Perhaps it would not. But they're there. They've gathered some of the people. They still haven't gotten all of them. We have the chance to waylay them, capture back those people, and return the Summer Prince. Or at least, if we can't do that, install another one right away so we can get the cycle going.
Well, I'm not supposed to say that. That's a matter for the prince. My apologies. And she bows.
It is true, I cannot remember who the Prince of Summer is. So they've taken the Unmaker.
Well, it's good to know it has a name. I would say yes.
It was retrieved by one like you, Relentless, a wanderer, an object found in the wreckage of a freehold where all the changelings had vanished.
That might be the fate that marches forward for the rest of us if we're not able to recover it.
I care not about the sword, but I want these chainers brought in.
It seems like we do know one thing is that they want the 5 first for some reason. And that is their first task. And I know chainers are very particular about their tasks that their keepers give them. And we know at least one of their targets, and she's right here. They will come for Allison. And we need to be ready for that.
Lord, they've tried to come for me before. I can be quite elusive, but wasn't able to lose their trail like I normally do. If it weren't for Relentless, I may very well have been taken.
I helped. She seems like a surprise.
Well, my task now is to speak to the other remaining princes, gather our powers to step forward. The time between summer and autumn is short, so I suspect we will have a debate about whether to raise up someone from the summer court or simply carry out the ceremony for autumn. So these chainers I put in your hands, Jack.
Yes, Your Highness.
Will
We
you
will
be
endeavor.
the bearer of the silent arrow for me, my knight in this?
Yes, of course, Your Highness. I am honored at the responsibility that you have given me. Myself and my motley will do our best. If there is any assistance that we can hope for from the Winter Court, we would be much obliged. We are but 4. Motley.
Ashwine, bring hedge fruits for these weary travelers. And he will have a set of hedge fruits brought. So here's what you're going to get. You're just going to get hedge fruit that you can eat right now and clear. If you have a marked element, you can clear one of your elements immediately. And when I say elements, I mean moods. Sorry, Hearts of Wulin. But yeah, and if you don't, you can hang on to it to eat at a later point. But then the other hedge fruit that is there gives you a +1 forward to do a contract. So essentially, you can eat that either before or after you roll to boost that up. So each of you will have one of each of those. I will keep Hopscotch here under wraps. And when we know the outcome of all of this, then we will decide that outcome, is that acceptable? I ask because you are the four that put him into my power.
What do you all think?
I defer to your judgment, Prince.
Glad that he's helped. I'm glad that he will have a chance to be heard.
I think we should kill him now.
Now, Emily. We do things different in the Winter Court here.
We're a little slow and glacial, but eventually we get around to killing people.
Justice is slow, but
Yes.
it is sure here in the Winter Court. If there is killing to be had, we will inform you so that you may spectate.
Well,
Well, my friends, shall we leave the prince to his business and get to Oz?
and you four can head out. Ashwine is there. He's like, hey,
You're gonna be pretty busy here for a while.
yeah. Yeah,
You-
things.
Have you found yourself forgetting anything else?
Not that I remember.
Right, right.
Well, if you can get away, you can come and help us.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
It would.
He is pretty as a pumpkin, isn't he?
Oh,
About half as smart, too.
He always forgets to button his shirt all the way up, so it's always open and a little
Yeah,
glistening.
Forgets.
Forgets.
Jack can see that Relentless has a crush. And he leans over and says, Relentless, hope you haven't been holding back on my account
she kind of
now that
stops
I
and
got
goes,
my promotion.
oh yeah, you should definitely come and join us.
So you all will gather yourselves together to head out in pursuit of these chainers.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to do in terms of preparation?
I think once we are clear of Winter's domains, I say to everybody, so a thing that I wasn't able to make it on time to pancakes because I found this. I hold up the pass card, and I think it's Tafir's palace. It was brought to me. I meant to get something else, and this is what I found. So I think it's of significance. I'm really scared about this, but I think I have to go back. I don't know what for, but
You don't
just
go back until you have to go back, Allison.
I think that I'm being called, and I don't think it's by the keepers. Now, I'm not going to ask any of you to come with me, and I'll be careful, and I'll be back before you know it. The last time that I was there, you wouldn't have even known that I was gone.
I don't want you when we're forgetting things already. You're the only one that remembers that person you remember. Stay with us until we take care of the chainers.
This is important. I can feel it.
Well, you're not going alone because you have a target on your backside. And if you go into the hedge, the chainers are going to feel that and they're going to be going right after you.
That's what
And
this
you
is.
cannot hide from them. And don't talk to me about your pride at hiding. We are going with you. If we're going to the hedge, all of us will be going to Fear's palace if any one of us goes.
Okay, well, this is going to be awkward. And I text my therapist asking if I can set up a group therapy session.
I'm actually going to stop us here. because we're kind of at that nice, like, we're going to start with you at the chainers. Like we'll get on scene with that right away, and figure out, how that goes, and that maybe set up the next stage for, if you need to go in to the hedge to rescue people, or for other reasons. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go through this end of session thing that I'm still not convinced by, but this is the way I've been doing it, and I still working on this. So let me ask Relentless, did you express your ogreness, or your particular kind of ogreness today?
I think so. I think I was a little on the strong and overpowering side.
Excellent. And did you express your autumnness?
More in the
Fear
way,
and magic and that
yeah,
kind of
I
thing?
think magic and that sort of sense of, did the contracts
Mhm.
and that sort of thing. So, and actually like went to that.
That
Yeah,
makes
I think
sense.
so.
Yeah. And did you express your human nature, your human side, connection with humanity?
I think so. I think I wanted to believe that Hopscotch had a reason that he did this terrible thing. Plus I owe him, but also because I really would prefer that he wasn't as horrible as it might look that he is.
Fair
So,
enough. 3 points.
all right.
Emily, did you express your nature as an elemental, or as your mannequinness?
I think so. I mean, I did a lot of teleporting today.
Yes. And you are Autumn, right?
Yes.
So I think the invocations of the magic and things also reflects that. But did we see something of your humanity?
I mean, she took it as a really personal betrayal.
Yeah. Yeah, you really dug into that. Like where we've seen you kind of be a little bit aloof, you really took that personally. Yeah, so 3 points. Allison, did we see you express your seeming or your kith?
Yeah, I think that the investigations of mystery, trying to dig deep into what's going on beyond the veil.
Mm-hmm. And what about your season?
Season, I'm a little bit more on the fence about. Like, I didn't tap much into my own magical abilities, and I was scared of stuff, but
But
I
I
don't
think
feel
the weirdness of the key card that you brought to play, I think that whole sense of falling into that of destiny and that, I think that definitely feels Autumn Court weirdness.
I will
So
take it.
point that. And what do we see about your humanity today?
I think that Allison has a very distinct sense of justice. That what she experienced in her durance, she doesn't want anyone else to, no matter how much they deserve it.
Interesting.
So, she accepts regardless rulings, but she does not like them.
Excellent. So all 3 points there. And Jack, did you express your seeming or kith?
I think I did. Well, the seduction of it wasn't quite a seduction of Wally, but the connection to Wally, and also yeah, I think it was very fairest, and the smells that he used to invoke the reminiscence in him as the gift, the quid pro quo.
And I think a little bit of your political play with your prince there also.
Yes, that would be very fairest kind of thing. Yes.
And how did you express your nature of winter here?
Well, I was quite loyal to the court today, wasn't I? And to the strictures of the court, which are all about secrecy and protecting the freehold. And and maintaining the
Yeah.
rewards of the freehold. So
And I think the Wally thing is one of the best illuminations of humanity that I've seen. I thought that was a whole great, like that was sharp scene there. So 3 points total for you.
Jack is human.
Yes. And I'll check in at the beginning of next session to see about what new moves or other advances people have taken. You can, you can add to a stat as a standard advance. You can take a new move. You can take a seeming move from another seeming. You can take a season move.
Can I ask a quick mechanic question?
Yeah.
I noticed on the basic move sheet, down towards the bottom were 2 moves called Pierce the Mask and Read a Sitch. Are we using those, or are those kind of?
They're down below. Oh no, those are old moves. Those are before we changed study.
I figured they seemed very study-like. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. The study takes place of those. Do y'all mind doing just a quick stars wishes? I did note down the wish that you had put in the text, Allison. So I have that. Sherry, stars wishes.
Oh gosh, this group is so good. And here's the thing though, you're a terrible human being because you made this season of Changeling just long enough to be heartbreak. So we get our wheels rolling, and then that's going to be the end of it. But my gosh, this has been awesome. I love these characters so much. Everything is beautiful. It's like you guys, oh man, hitting all the themes. It's good stuff. It is, yeah, bestest. So that's my stars. They're inarticulate but sincere and earnest. All right, just like Relentless. So, and my wish star, I wanna actually, how should we say, be effective with my ogre skills.
Okay.
So that's it. In the sense that I would like the dice roller to cooperate.
Well, and we'll put you in your element next time. I think there might be some punching of
There
some
will
kind.
be some punching.
Okay.
I also got Huntsman, so I go in with a +1 and be
Excellent. Emily?
Yeah, another great session. It's yeah, interested to see where this goes. No wish in particular.
Okay. Allison?
Oops, sorry, my
Oh.
animals are attacking each other. Quiet. Go to bed. Yeah, stars to everybody, like really backing up what Sherry had said, but the big takeaway that I have, just a beautiful delivery of lie down in the lazy boy. Just the gravel added to that made a good emphasis on the gravity of the situation. Loved it.
And any wishes?
So the wishes, in case people didn't see in the chat, the quick thing is I want us to go into the hedge whenever it makes sense for that to be a destination. Like I'm excited that we've introduced that as an element. I think that we've got some changelings to rescue from Fear's Palace. I think it's I mentioned Escher as the logo, but I think it's like Escher by way of Hieronymus Bosch. So it's a little bit of both.
Okay. Excellent. And Jose?
Yeah, stars to everybody. This was a great session. I just love the way we split apart and then we come together, and the way you facilitate that lull and give everyone a moment in the spotlight. But then I really enjoy the group scenes quite a bit. Like the scene with the Prince of Winter, I thought was really cool. It kind of showed something about each of our characters, and yeah, and so I'm just really enjoying how much the narrative really builds each of our characters, and each of us is really leaning into that. So I love that, and I'm having tons of fun with it too, just discovering my character. And in terms of wishes, I think Jack needs to be thrown out of his calm somehow. Thrown out. He's been just way too in control, and I think the way to do that is with the romantic entanglement. That's going to really pull the rug out from underneath him. But there might be other ways to do it as well. Yeah, that my wish is for Jack to have a hard day.
Okay. I think that that is certainly fair. Thank you, everybody. I love all these characters. It's been a pleasure, getting the mix of them, and I look forward to seeing all of the fallout next time. So I am going to stop the recording.